Hi guys, it's me Ty here, and today I'm going to talk about how to live to 100. And in my family, we have a lot of longevity. My grandparents lived a very long time, and my one grandma lived um, just 1 month away from her 100th birthday. And I asked her when she was older there, I was like, Grandma, what's the secret to you living so long? And my grandma said, secret is I ate potatoes every day. She said that on one day she would spend all day just peeling potatoes, and then next day be eating them, and then on the day after that, then she'd spend all day peeling potatoes, next day eating them, and just the cycle was like that. And she also told me that I was like, are there certain foods that you like to avoid or anything like that? And she's like, I eat a little bit of everything. She said that too much of anything is bad for you. I don't care if it's carrots or broccoli. If you eat too much of it, it's not good for you. So she had candy and cookies and ice cream. She had all that stuff. But like I said, it was all in moderation. But by the time I came along, my grandma was pretty old. So she did not have her teeth. And I remember growing up there, and we'd stay there for the summers on the Indian reservation where they lived. And um, for breakfast, my grandma and grandpa, they would always have coffee and toast. They just lived on that stuff. And then I remember at dinner and supper when we were kids, they would always have a plate of just a half a loaf of bread, and then they'd have butter on the table. We'd always butter that, and they fried everything in a frying pan because at their house, all my life, they never owned a microwave. So at their house, their main cooking appliances there were, well, pretty much their only cooking appliances there were that they had a coffee pot, which was always going, and then they had like a toaster because we made so much toast there. I think it must have held 4 to 6 pieces of toast is what that toaster could kick out, and we were a big family. And then of course they're really old school oven, and they had a coal burning furnace in the house and a little wood burning stove in the kitchen. So, but yeah, like I said, she just ate a little bit of everything. So when all of us would come in to have dinner, my grandma actually she'd serve the meal, but she wouldn't really eat with us. She'd just kind of sit in her stool and just kind of watch with us and talk or whatever. And but all day or after we'd all leave the dinner table, go in the living room. Grandma would always snack a little bit. So she liked to, like I said, she made a lot of mashed potatoes, a lot of like chicken, cream chicken or whatever, and we just spread that on the uh, bread with butter. And what else did she make? Oh yeah, roast beef. She made roast beef. She could tear that up and eat it with some ketchup. So that's the kind of stuff she lived on. And then she get those cheap little uh, cookies that like this is before Dollar General back then, but Dollar General sells them. They have like the molasses on them or whatever. I remember Grandma would eat those and have us kids eat that from time to time. So, and then my grandma, she probably never worked out a day in her life, but she was really thin. And that's another thing with her being, like 5'8" like me. She, I believe that, you know, they always say that at like the nursing homes, you never see a fat person live a long time. And I honestly believe that because it takes so much to there's so much there that your heart is trying to pump all that blood, whereas somebody with a smaller build of a body, it doesn't take as much to get your blood flowing all the way through it. And then what else there? So yeah, and then I also did watch a report on what a doctor had said. All these people are doing bodybuilding and working out like crazy, running and all that. And he said, here's the thing about it. He said, your heart is like an engine. He's like, it only gets so many pumps and then it's wore out. So why would you be, running and working yourself that hard all the time, just wearing it down? So it's better to live more of a slow life. It doesn't work as hard if we're all gonna get the exact same number of pumps out of our heart. And then also the same with runners too. Another thing I don't believe in. You see all these guys running in their 20s, 30s, and then older. And like my one neighbor, he's a bodybuilder, just had an amazing six pack in his 40s and everything. But he died at the age of shortly after 67. And when he was in his 60s, his body, he got the gut and it just went downhill. Whereas all the guys that just remained thin and didn't work out, they're still living and all that. So yeah, he just worked his body too hard is what it is. And then also running all the time, that destroys your knees. When you're older, you're not gonna live 90, you're not gonna be walking. Your knees are gonna be freaking just destroyed. So um, like I said, this is what I learned from my grandma and how she lived her life, and then also that generation with her growing up as a child during the Great Depression. They were such a grateful generation too. Like you got all these people nowadays, they're like, oh, the government owes me this, everybody owes me this. No, nobody owes you a damn thing. You you have to work hard and what you want, and and if you don't have much, or just got to think about it, not think about what everybody else has, but think about what you have and be grateful for what you have and be happy and content with what you have. So, and I always pray that I never lose that, because like my grandparents instilled that on me, to be grateful for what I have, you know. So, like I said, I hope I always remain that way. So, if you guys like this content, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll just keep picking out these videos for you guys. All right, take care.